Hello everyone, it is time for another Iron Warrior Cosplay Q&A. How is everyone in chat? Are we all good tonight? Because I have had a very, very long day. Thank you Mr. Titan for activating the power shovel. It is next to me ready to go. And also thank you to GhostMouse99 for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Just before the stream started. Really, really appreciate that. Also thank you Mr. Titan again for the one host with the viewer. Really, really appreciate that. Today, I have a guest who has over 45,000 followers on Instagram. And she's currently smiling and laughing right now. I can see her on Zoom. She 45,000 followers on Instagram. And not only that, but she is an incredibly talented cosplayer and just needs more attention, and the spotlight needs to be shone on her. She's absolutely awesome. All the way from France. I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try my best. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely Arborealkey. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good,
I'm
absolutely.
a bit nervous. Extremely nervous.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be nervous anytime at all, because everyone in chat here, everyone is so loving and so nice. Everyone in chat's absolutely awesome. So just so you know, Ranger of Creek Cosplay has just posted all of your links in the Discord. Sorry, not in the Discord, sorry, in the Twitch chat. If you guys want to go and jump on all of those links, they are absolutely awesome. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. She has a website, a YouTube, and has just recently started a Twitch. So if you guys want to jump on her Twitch and give her a follow and support her on Twitch, that would be absolutely awesome. So, you're a French cosplayer. How's the French cosplay scene in France, of all places? Is it busy?
I don't really know anymore because I kind of left it a couple of years ago. I don't really go to conventions that often anymore, and I mostly work for Americans. So I don't know what's going on in France.
Well, I mean, that's fair enough. I mean,
I'm sorry.
It's fine if you don't know what's happening. That's absolutely not a problem. But I know you were saying there's there is like obviously a community of cosplayers in France,
Yeah.
but you're saying it's not as big or as like focused as some other countries, for example. Like I know in the UK here, I know we have quite a big cosplay. Obviously not as big as America. America has just grabbed cosplay and just run with it, and now it's a huge thing. But as a cosplayer, then, would you say you prefer to do more local events, or would you prefer to go overseas and go to other countries to do them? Like,
I have only done local events so far, so I cannot say. I don't know how great it would be to go somewhere else. I mean, I don't even go to events in Paris because it's the other side of the country for me. So.
Well, I mean, fair enough. If traveling is also a thing, because I know you take the train, don't you? Mostly.
I take the train. You've been in the Discord chat.
Yes, I have.
I try to take the train. I try. And in fact, the problem with the train is that it's coming from Italy because we are very close to the frontier, and they stop it at the frontier to control stuff, and that's why it's always late when it actually arrives into France.
I mean, I will say this though, I would love to see one day just you in your full cosplay, just just walking onto the train and just stood there with your staff, just like on the way to a cosplay event, just in full cosplay. Because I know Ranger of Krieg has done it before. I know Ranger of Krieg, my mod, Harry. I know he's been dressed up in his Krieg cosplay and like been on public transport, which is absolutely hilarious.
No, most of the time I drive to the events.
Yeah, so you do.
It's just,
do you have
easier.
do you have a big car or a small car? Do you have to like cram everything in?
I have a small car, but I have, that huge crate you can put on the roof.
I got you.
I don't know what you call it in English, but
oh, it's just like a roof box. It's just like a roof box.
okay, yeah. It's,
Oh, you have a. There you go. That's fair enough. I would be too scared to have all my cosplay stuff in a roof box. I'd be worried it would come off. I'd be like driving down the road. And
it's meant for this. It's not meant to fall off. Do you imagine the kind of accidents you will have in the highway if you lose your roof box?
Can you imagine? Oh, that would be.
I've seen it happen before. Some guy, he lost his. It's not a surf board. It's the one with.
It's one you hold with a sail as well.
Yes,
Yeah. I know what you mean. I don't even know what they're called.
Okay.
Someone in chat might know what they're called. But yeah, did he lose that? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's insane. That is insane. So obviously we have questions, and you and I have been chatting a bit just before the stream. So don't panic. They're not really bad questions. They're just little fun questions. If you want to pass or phone a friend or ask the audience, just slowly moving off camera. Like I'm gonna go now.
They won't notice.
I could do the same with my chair. And just slowly move away.
The sound is everything.
But obviously, with the questions, if you do want to skip any, you're more than welcome to. But nothing here is really bad. It's all just normal everyday cosplay stuff. So it's not a problem. But the first question I'd like to ask you though is, how long have you been cosplaying now?
I started in 2015, and I was still at university, so I did this a bit on my free time, and then I went full time. So I started doing commissions full time in 2019.
That's mad. So you've been cosplaying 5 years, but you only started your commissions a year ago.
A year ago.
That's
so
mad.
it wasn't the first time I made commissions, but I had made a few before because people just asked, and I wanted to know what it felt like. But it was illegal because I didn't have a company at the time. So it's we call it black work in French, something like that. When
we have that here, sort of. But I know a bunch of people who just do commissions and they just sell stuff and they just don't bother. Yeah. They don't have a company. They're just like, hey, here, I made the thing, buy it. But
when you do it part time or just a few times, it doesn't feel very useful to have a company and go through all the paperwork just for one commission. But when you go full time, it's obvious that you have to
well,
go
obviously,
legal.
I know with yourself, you are currently incredibly busy with your commissions. Considering that you only started a year ago, I mean, just before the stream, you were on the phone with somebody who's asking for a commission. Like, you're really busy, and obviously, with the links that Ranger of Crete Cosplay posted in chat, if you guys jump over to her Instagram, you'll see why she's so busy with commissions, because her work is insane. Some of the stuff that you've done it just blows my mind. And also, obviously, the one thing you did say was the something that really garnered you a lot of followers was your tails, the tails that you make, the ones that move so fluidly. Obviously,
the wings too.
And the wings. The wings
I did. I don't know why, because it's a very basic system, but it just blew
well, that's the thing. I mean, to you, you're like, that's a really basic system. To everyone else who was just like, oh my god!
And so many people thought it was CGI. And they were saying in the comments, oh, it's not real, it's just CGI.
You know how like people find you on Instagram or Facebook and they see your stuff like that? I have seen your stuff on those websites they take a video and pages on Facebook, then they'll take a video and they'll add really cheesy music over it and they'll just play the video. I have seen your video taken with music on it, and I'm just like, I know who that is, and they hadn't credited you. So I put your Instagram link in the chat, and a bunch of people have liked it, like in the comments.
Very nice of you.
Liked it because I was just like, she needs recognition because that's her stuff, and it's so cool. Honestly,
someone stole the video and posted it to TikTok, and I am not on this platform, so I had to create an account just to go to tell them to stop it, because they were trying to sell stuff with my video.
Oh, that's not cool.
If someone buys it, and what are they going to receive?
Honestly, I mean, for example, that would be like, because you're so popular and your stuff is so cool that people are trying to trying to make money from that, like really
Yeah.
in a really shitty way. That's horrible. I hope that never happens, like to anybody. And sadly, it does. I know a few friends of mine who have had their, for example, a friend of mine in the Ghostbusters community who created a proton pack shell mold, and a customer bought a mold from him, and then what he did was he made another mold from that, just copying
a recaster.
a recast, yeah, which was so horrible, and it was just really just disgusting of that person to do that. Like,
I think it's the worst thing you could do in the prop making community. If you have been on the Replica prop forum,
oh yeah,
it's the worst offense.
Yeah,
is recasting.
It's your sentence is death if you're found out that you've been recasting. Like, it's insane, and I just don't understand why people just don't either make your own one and then start casting, or ask them, hey, can I buy a cast from you? Would you make me a cast? And, then buy the rights to the cast. Like, I can buy that and then make molds from that. I don't know how it works. I don't do casting, like, big time. Obviously, the only things I do are the like, Evil Ted molds and stuff like that. I don't do big casts. I do little tiny.
You've done the Iron Warrior coins, too.
Kim Raven, the legend that is Warped Raven Cosplay, made me that. And I've been casting loads. She was like, just here you go, and I've been casting them, and I've given one to Rogel Dawn, Dave Sinclair, that he's got one on the way, because he was like, oh my god, can I have one? I'm like, yes, you can. So I sent him one, and I've also sent a gift to Warp Raven as a thank you for making me that mold, and I've also commissioned her with some molds, so that's going to be really cool. So anyway, back to the questions. Why do you cosplay? Like, why do you personally? What is your reason for cosplaying?
I just did at some point. In 2014, I went to my first convention, so it was before I started cosplay, and I didn't really know about it. But there, I saw people dressed up as characters, and I remember seeing a female Shepard from Mass Effect. And the fun thing is that she's one of the people who, without knowing it, got me into cosplay, because I was like, oh, she's so cool. I want to do this one day. And I actually met her a couple of years later. And I didn't realize immediately it was her. And then I went to her Facebook page and saw the costume, and I recognized what got me into cosplay.
That's so cool. That is absolutely awesome. With in terms of like people who got into cosplay, the man who got me into making Space Marines and doing Warhammer is currently in the chat, and that's Exeter Cosplay, who I actually just did a stream with the other day before
I've
this.
seen it.
So
I follow him on social media. I know his stuff.
He's a legend. I love him. He's awesome. Hopefully he's still in chat and heard that. If not, I'm going to send him this. Yeah, here you go. No! If not, I'd have to send him that clip and be like, look, David, I mentioned you because you're awesome. But honestly, I'm still staggered by how long you've been cosplaying, and then a year, and now you're almost full-time. You're almost full-time prop making now, aren't you?
Yes,
That's
I am.
mad.
And it's my goal to be. But when I started, I already had people asking for commissions. It's not... some people come to me and say, I want to do commissions for a living. And they ask me how to get commissions. But the issue is, when I started, I already had a network. I already had people asking. So I knew I would have work.
Good.
If I went full time.
I tell you what, I would give my left hand to have a network of like prop making commission people who I could just jump in with and be like, right, let's make props. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done one or two commissions. Well, I've done a fair few commissions actually. I'd say more than one or two, but it's difficult for me because obviously with my day job and stuff, and then other commitments, and
you don't have much time.
The workshop's currently a mess right now, but I'm still like working on trying to do commissions. But I'm not doing commissions as Iron Warrior Cosplay. I'm doing commissions as Battle Ready Cosplay props and costumes. So that's a different thing altogether. I've done a fair few commissions on there, but nothing on the level that you are. Like your level is there. Like honestly, the work I've seen you do, and what we were chatting just before, you made a helmet, right? And you had a helmet on a little spinny platform, and you were doing a video of you spinning it right there, right? And you were just
It's not even a spinning platform. It's a coffee table on top of my mannequin stand.
Just so you could spin it around. That's so cool. Because you just had that and you were spinning it around. And then I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I was looking at the thing and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
It's not meant to be used like that.
And then suddenly you just grabbed the Mohican, if you will, of the helmet, took it off and then yeeted it at the camera. It's just, I was like, that's really cool. Because I've seen another helmet you made with the horns.
The Incubus one.
I think it was, yeah. All the horns you just clipped on.
You can...
I thought that was insane. Is there any particular reason you do that? Is it for transport or is it just...
For the horns, it is for storage, yes. Because my first horn helmet was from Skyrim and I had to sew them off in order to carry the costume. So... because they just didn't fit into the box.
Oh, man.
So this time, I made them removable.
That way, transport and stuff is...
The Dragon Ball commissions with the blade, it's because in the manga and the anime, the character can actually throw the blade.
Oh, right.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever, so I wanted to do it in real life.
Because I'm just looking at some of the stuff you've done here, and like you magnetized, you had the magnetizable spikes on your shoulder.
Yes, that was a commission too.
That was a commission. You've done so much amazing stuff. The reason I'm having to go through your Instagram to look is because you've done so much. Oh, your hammer, the I forgot.
Yeah, the smoking hammer from Warframe.
Yeah. How long did that take you to make?
I don't know. I have all the footage, so maybe I can try to do an estimate. But it was made in a very short time because I made it for a contest. I don't know if you... I know Evil Ted was one of the judges during this contest.
Oh,
a few American prop makers, they just got together and organized this with awesome prizes. And it was open to the whole world. And it was my first occasion to be judged by professional makers.
That is insane.
And I made the hammer to complete my Warframe costume.
How did you do?
I placed third in the master category.
Well done.
And it
genuinely.
was, I think it was 4 a.m. because of the time. The time zones they were in America.
Oh, man, but seriously, third place though, like out of everyone who took part, you placed third. That is incredible.
I didn't even expect to be one of the finalists.
I genuinely, I honestly think that deserves, like, if I had an audience right now, I'd make them give you a huge round of applause because honestly. Everyone type clap in the chat. Everyone type clap in the chat because honestly, that is absolutely legendary. Especially with Evil Ted as one of the judges. I actually had Evil Ted on my stream.
There was Evil Ted. There was the Egg Sisters.
Oh yeah.
There was Top Custom. He was I think he works with TNT Cosplay Supplies. There was Jackie Craft. There was Frostbite Cosplay. And Hoku Props, I think. Yeah, I might have forgotten some of them, but it was just a team of awesome makers. And I'm so glad they looked at my photos and my videos.
You're absolutely fantastic cosplay, honestly. It is brilliant. You are getting a huge round of applause in the chat right now, and it's absolutely awesome to see. Everyone's clapping.
You told me not to look at the chat, so I don't know.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just letting you know that everyone is typing like clap. Like, well done. Absolutely awesome. You're getting a huge round of applause. So, with the fact that you're what, 23 now, you said?
Yes.
So, you've been doing it 5 years. You're doing commissions now for about a year. Is cosplay and commission work something you'll see yourself doing in 10 years?
Yes, I think. But maybe in a different way, because you have seen it, but I recently landed my first professional commission, because so far I've been working for private customers.
Yeah. And
I think it's a bit hard, at least in France, to get to work for companies, because I think prop making is still a bit young here, and you cannot really apply for this kind of job, and they have to find you, and usually it's about connections and all, and
you have to know people who know people, kind of thing.
Yes, and I'm too young in this area to know people, because others have been doing it for 15 years, so I wasn't there at the time.
No.
Which means it was a bit hard to get the first one, but now that I got the first one, they might talk about the commission to other people. And
hopefully the balls start rolling,
yes.
Exactly. So are you allowed to talk about the commission?
Yes, because it has been revealed last weekend.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's the trophy I showed you.
The trophy's awesome.
It's the trophy. I have it actually, because I don't have the address yet, so I don't know where to send it. I can get it if you want.
Would you guys like to see it? If everyone in chat would like to see it, then absolutely, because I know I do. So if you want to go grab that, I can chat to everyone and we'll...
It's just in...
Yeah, that's fine. You go grab the trophy, because I would love to see it. So I hope you guys really are enjoying this, because honestly, I couldn't get over that. Like, obviously I gave her a message and I was like, hey, do you mind like chatting for a second? She was like, not a problem, I'm free. I was like, would you like to be on my cosplay stream? And she was like, oh my god, yes, because I've been like following your work for ages. And I'm just like, you've been following my work? Like, she's got 45,000 followers and she follows my work? No. Everyone should follow her work. I just post randomly.
So,
her work is insane, as you guys know.
The camera is very bad, so you cannot see the shine of the colors well, but it gives you an idea of the size, you know?
That's insane.
So it's not that small, but you will have to see the photos I posted. I didn't edit them; it's just the lighting. But here's the light is.
Yeah, no, it's better to take a nice with decent lighting. Yeah. But that is an awesome trophy.
Here you can see a bit of the scale.
That is insane. And what competition is that for?
It was a cosplay contest. It was during an eSport event. I don't know if you have heard about ESL. It's a very big international company, and they organize most eSport contests in the world.
Ah, right. I'm not big into esports personally. I'm sure someone in the chat is big into esports. But so that trophy is like the trophy that's going to be won by somebody?
It has been won
no
Saturday.
Way.
Yes, it has been won by a Belgian team, so it's going to Belgium.
That's awesome.
But it was not for an eSport contest. It was an eSport event, but they had a cosplay contest, and it's a trophy for the cosplay contest.
Oh, see, that is genuinely well done. That is such a cool commission, and it's huge. So, it doesn't look that in the images.
It's very heavy. It's over 1 kilogram.
Oh wow! So what's it made from mostly? Is it cast?
No, it's not, because there wasn't enough time or money for this. I had 1 week, and they already knew, and I had told them that with the budget I couldn't cast it. So I worked on a 3D model. I made the design too, so I made the 3D model, I printed it, and then I sculpted on top. So I just printed the base, and I filled the bottom parts of the trophy with steel nuts and resin, so it would be very bottom heavy.
That's so
it wouldn't fall over, and it feels realistic when you hold it. It's heavy. It feels like
you know you're holding a big heavy trophy in your hand. You're like, yeah, I won this. That's so. If you guys want to see the really nice lighting, and the really nice photos, if you jump over to her Instagram, which I'm sure Ranger Creek Cosplay will throw up on the screen there, the images are incredible. I like that you also. You take so many pictures and test photos and stuff of as you're building things. I really like that part. I try to do that myself, but I'm worried I take too many. Like, I take so many pictures as I go along. But what's really cool about that is when I need to go back and look at something I've done, I've got the photo there and I can go back and oh, that's how I did that. And then I can do it again. But the stuff you do is awesome.
And it helps a lot with commissions, because it makes people realize how much work goes into this, and it helps you justify the price of something.
Absolutely.
People just say, oh, okay, you had to do all this in order to make 1 trophy. Now I understand what you do.
Well, I will admit you're lucky there because a lot of people who have asked me to commission stuff, obviously I'm not naming any names, but people have asked me to commission stuff for them and they're like, oh, okay, cool, it's this much. And they're just like, wow, I thought it'd be this much. And I'm like, no, it's this much. It's like that much money. And they're like, I only have that much money. I'm like, I can't build it for that. I just can't. There's the resources, time, material. It's just not gonna. It just doesn't work like that. And it's fine. I don't mind that people are like, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't afford it. And I don't mind if they tell me they can't afford it. But it's the ones that tell me like, oh, that's a rip-off, that's way too much money, I'm not paying that. And they get really angry. And it's like, come on, really? Do you get any of that?
I get the third category sometimes. You send a price range and just the person just disappears.
Oh yeah, it's like that. It's like that Homer Simpson in the hedge, and he just walks backwards into the hedge, and the hedge develops. It's like, oh, okay, bye. Exactly. They never speak to you again. It's like, oh well, there you go. It's the way.
Yes, I've had people before who wanted me to work for free.
What? No.
It's like saying your work has no value.
That's no, not for free. I couldn't do that. That's absolutely...
Unless it's for charity or something. But here it was for a commission. And they were like, oh, we are paying for the materials. Yes, okay. If you pay for the materials, I will send you the materials and then you will build it yourself.
Yeah. If you what's that? You're willing to pay for the foam? Cool, I'll send you the foam and then you can do the rest. Like, it doesn't work like that. Oh, that's absolutely insane. But I will say this, the amount of commissions you've taken over the year you've been doing it seems to be phenomenal. Like, you are really making props like crazy from all different like categories. Now, I know we're very Warhammer 40k heavy on this channel, being an Iron Warrior and the Space Marines and all that stuff. How many Warhammer-based cosplays have you made?
Not that much, actually, for a simple reason, is that people mostly ask for Space Marines. And for this kind of build, I say, I will do it only if you can go to the workshop and do a test fit.
Yep. I've asked people before as well. I refuse to do a Space
Marine remotely because of the stills, because you never know how it's going to hold on the person. I don't want to take the risk.
No, exactly. And if you don't want to put your work out there and have it look awful on somebody if the scaling isn't right. And I completely agree.
Not fair for the guy who paid for it.
Exactly. And if they have to heavily modify it after they get it, and it's a whole thing. But how many Warhammer cosplays have you made other than, obviously, people ask for Space Marines, but...
I've done my first thing I did. I had a friend make a Tau Fire Warrior. Is it how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Tau. Yeah, it's Tau Fire Warrior.
In French, we
actually have some Tau here as well.
And it was my first dive in the universe, and he was a big fan. And I didn't know much about it, but he had a lot of Black Library books. So one day I picked up one about the Thousand Sons, and I just got hooked into this universe. But it was the trilogy about Ahriman, but the issue is they expect you, when you read it, to already know about the universe.
Yeah.
So I start reading it, and they were space wolves, but they just say wolves, and I was like, are they actual wolves?
Yeah, you just think of four-legged.
What's going on?
That's fair enough. So you made a Tau Firer. That's crazy. That is awesome. Yeah. Tau Firer is really, really awesome. Like, I've seen some amazing builds with the big shoulders and the huge guns. It's so cool.
And the hooves, but we didn't make the hooves.
Oh, did you not make the hooves? Did you just leave them?
We tried, but there wasn't enough time. So then I got into Eldar.
Yes,
we did
Eldar.
We did a cosplay duo as in French they are called Serast. In English, I think it's Wishes. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. The Arena Fighters. WYCHES.
CHES. Oh, I'm drawing a blank myself now.
And they have a completely different name in French.
Yeah. What? Someone saying Banshee in Witch.
No. Dark Eldar, no, not a
Dark Eldar. Someone saying
Yes,
Witch. I'm not sure.
yes.
Witch.
WYCHES, and I
Oh,
didn't know how
WY.
to
Oh,
pronounce
right.
it. WY. I
WY.
know how to
That's what was
spell it.
confusing me.
And we did this. So he did a generic, he did his own design, and I went as Lelith Hesperax. And she's a character I just love. So yes, I was almost naked when I started doing 40k cosplays for myself.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you got that hooked that you started making cosplays for yourself.
Yes, and that was for me. And then at the time, I really got into the Horus Heresy. And I read all of the novels that were available at the time. And then I got into other things. You know, it's just... You start somewhere and you start getting interested in all factions and reading about them, and you want to build everything.
Oh, absolutely. You read about all this really cool stuff, and you're like, okay, I need to build that. That needs to be real. Like,
yes, and when you start reading this book series, you want to be all the characters, all of them.
It's crazy, right? Because I've got a lot of them on audiobook.
Yes.
With Audible, and I've read it, but I've been listening to The First Wall, which is the Iron Warriors versus the Imperial Fists. And it's such a good book. It's so good. I love it so far. Like, I'm just because I'm re-listening to it, because I've read the book and I think it's amazing, but I'm re-listening to an audiobook, and something about an audiobook hits differently. The way the voice portrays each character and stuff.
I should try it. I've read the novels on paperback, and I listened to the audio dramas, but I've never tried the audiobooks themselves.
They're really
so
cool.
I don't know.
I've got a few. If you message me one or two of the books that you really like, I've got a load of them already downloaded. I could send them to you.
Oh, that would be really nice of you.
Cool. Look at that exchanging of Warhammer books. Love it. But we'll jump back to the questions before we finish. But obviously, you have made more Warhammer 40k cosplays.
More after. I made at some point a Night Lord bolt pistol because they are my favorite legion. I've said it.
So cool. Night Lords, they are cool.
At some point, I started building a Custodes, and I never finished it because, I went a bit in the wrong direction with the proportions and all. And a guy from New Zealand was really into it and said, "I want the armor, and I will finish it." So I just sent the armor to him.
You just gave him the armor?
I was selling the shoulder plates because they are finished. You might have seen them. They're red and gold.
Yeah, I saw some of them on your Instagram, I think.
The eagle on one side, and I put a sun with plenty of stars with the actual names of the stars on the other.
See, what we were saying just before we started was the detail you go into is insane.
So he got the armor and he might finish it. And I had made the banners Vexilla, and I gave it to my local Warhammer store. So now it's in the store. They have the banner.
Oh, that's so cool. Exeter Cosplay just said in the chat there, Ave Dominus Nox. He did
a Night Lord.
He has a Night Lord, yeah, with massive wings. He has a Night Lord with huge wings, and it's a thing.
I remember the picture in his living room or something, and the Space Marine was bending under the ceiling to fit in the room.
Oh man, it's so cool. The Warhammer community is such a good community. I love it.
It's still one of my dream costumes. My actual dream costume is Magnus as a demon prince. So with the red with the wings and all.
That's so cool. Oh my god. If you ever do that, please tell me. I don't have
enough space. But it's something I would love to do because I love the Thousand Suns. They are my second favorite legion, and it's a really interesting thing to build. You have so many different techniques. You have the red skin, you have the legs and the horns. And I know it's very unpopular opinion, but I am okay with the teeth horns.
Oh yeah,
it's a great debate within the community. a lot of
The
people
boom
hate
horns
them.
are so cool. They are just like the coolest thing. He's got the giant horns on his head, and then he's
Yeah,
got a huge pair of booming
and the
horns.
little tail at the back.
If you ever make that, I cannot wait. I'm so up if you like make
It's
that.
my ultimate dream. But one of the things I really want to do in the 40k universe as a Night Lord fan, I want to be the first captain who is presumed dead, because we haven't heard of him in a while. Because there were so many great stories during the Horus Heresy with him in it, and then he just disappeared from the series.
Just vanishes. Oh god, I love how into it. I love how into Warhammer 40k you are. I think that's really, really cool because
I really just build things I like.
Good.
Unless it's a commission, but
Obviously,
when I do it for myself, it's because I like the lore, I like the design, and that's what's happening with Eldar. I have done at least 3 now, because I've done I can't pronounce the name.
I'm not gonna lie, Warhammer names are hard for anyone to pronounce, really.
It's in French we just say Barot. In English it will be Baharoth, because you pronounce the H when we don't. So I did this in 2017 with the wings and all, and I kept the wings in order to create an Eldar emblem on my wall. The one inside the codex with the avatar head in the middle and the sword. So it would look so awesome on the wall. And it's like, I think the wings are at least 150 centimeters high. So it reaches maybe my mouth, I think, if I'm standing.
That's insane.
So
and have you mounted that on a wall, or are you going to?
No, not yet. They are here in the cupboard here.
Oh, man.
And one day they will be on the wall.
I love that. I love it. If you do eventually put them on the wall, you're obviously going to post it on Instagram. I'll have to share it to my cosplay page and just be like, look, she finally did it. Like, I'll have to do that. What is, obviously with the amount of cosplays that you've made, but what is the most expensive cosplay you've made to date?
So, I don't know.
Obviously, you don't have to tell us like actual money, but like if you like which cosplay in particular was it? You don't have to actually tell us how much it was.
It's tied between my Warframe costume Valkyr and the Visarch, because what's expensive on my costume isn't the foam, it's not the armor, it's the fabric.
The fabric, I was going to say.
Yes, because the Visarch has a very, very heavy cape, and I'm glad I found the fabric, because it has, of course, you cannot imagine it on photos, but when you are actually wearing the armor, you feel the weight of the cape. And it's an awesome feel, because when you spin, it just follows your movement. It's so heavy.
Oh, it's so
but
cool.
The fabric was so expensive. And for a cape, you always use so many meters of fabric.
Yep.
Capes are huge once you put them on the ground. You just realize how much fabric went into this.
You should see the amount of fabric that was used on the cape of the Iron Warrior.
I can imagine.
And that weighs so much. When you pick up the chest, the cape, when it comes off the ground, you're like, oh god, and it's really heavy. It's really, really heavy. But I'll ask you the same question then, but what's the cheapest cosplay you've ever made?
It might be I made a post-apocalyptic costume with only recycled parts.
That's so cool.
Only. So it uses foam scraps, fabric scraps, and bits from all costumes. So I had a Skyrim bed I didn't want to use anymore, and I couldn't sell it because it was damaged. So I cut it into parts, and I made an arm guard and a shoulder plate with it. So it's just bits of costumes and bits of scraps. You might have seen it, I don't know. I have a photo. It was our first photo shoot with my little brother, and we have a photo with, it's not a cape, it's just a bit of filthy fabric, but it's flying behind me. And we had so many takes to get the cape at the right moment.
You've got to catch it at the right second to make it look just right. It's good when you have a photographer who wants to just keep like, do it again, let's get it right, do it again, do it again.
it was his first time doing a photo shoot. And then we did other photo shoots. And it's great to be a bit independent. It's great to shoot with photographers, but you have copyright issues. And I need the picture. I need to be able to crop the pictures for my website or something, or to use them like I wish. And when you are shooting with a photographer, the photos don't belong to you; they belong to them.
Yeah,
which is fair, obviously.
Unless you buy them from them. Obviously.
Yeah, unless you buy them. But in France, usually cosplay photographers are not professionals. They are very good at what they do, but they aren't officially photographers, so they cannot get paid for the job. They aren't allowed to be paid. It would be illegal.
What's really cool about a lot of the photographers that I know here in the UK, for example, Richard Burge, Dave Sinclair, shooting cosplayers is Richard Burge, and he's really, really cool. The amount of them, the amount of them who just come to events and they'll just take pictures of you and they'll just be like, here you go. They'll put them on my website. You can save them and do what you wish with them. And it's like, really? And like, yeah, here. I'll send you the high resolution ones. And they email you the high resolution ones and just say, you can have them. As long as you credit me, you can have them. I'm like, you're so nice. It's absolutely... Donald Manning is another one. Donald Manning's a very good friend of mine. He's absolutely awesome. These amazing cosplay photographers, they'll just go to events and they'll just have fun at the event and they'll just go blah, 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 and then they send people the photos. And it's just so nice to see. And occasionally
it's also easy to get photos here, but shooting with someone you know and who is from your family or a close friend, it gives you more liberty, because sometimes you do not dare giving your ideas to the photographer, because you never know if they have already something planned in their mind, and if you aren't going to disturb them in their work. So with my brother, we can just talk about what we are going to do before the shoot.
That's what's best about it. And I was just going to say, there are some occasionally you'll get some professional photographers. They'll take your picture and then they'll demand money from you for the photos, and you're just like, no, no, thank you. Or they'll sell your photos and stuff without telling you, and it's kind of like that's really crap. Oh no, Clem, Exeter Cosplay and Khan are both saying hot glue glues fabric, no sewing needed. Don't do that. I did that. I used so much hot glue on my old cape. My old cape was all held together by hot glue.
Not on commissions, but on my own stuff. On post-apocalyptic clothing, I do it because it gives you the, unfinished look you need. It's meant to look like that.
Absolutely. I mean, with the Iron Warrior, for example, the first cape I had, the one I made, I just hot glued. I just cut a sheet of black canvas and I just hot glued it on. It looked terrible. This one, though, is not as nice as it looks. I have sprayed some brown and black onto it to make it look a bit dirtier, but I might need to start shredding the bottom of it to make it look a bit more grim.
That's the best part. I love shredding capes.
I need to start shredding it. I really do. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I really need to get doing that. With the questions here, I've got another one for you, which is, what is your favorite part of cosplay? I know there's a lot of questions like that you're like, oh, there's a lot of answers to that.
I have recently discovered that I love designing a special version of a character. That's what I'm doing with my current build, my Incubus. It's recognizable as what it is, but I've done my own stuff on it. I've chosen my details, I've chosen my fabric parts. I'm going for something very personal, and you think about the harmony of the costume. You think about the lore. You think I hate so many details that are obscure references to Eldar lore inside the costume.
I can't wait to see it fully like out there and just you wearing it. That'd be really cool. Have you got any photo shoots planned this year at all? I know COVID being a thing, but
no. I need to shoot my Valkyrie costume. It's a Warhammer one, because so far I haven't done it. With this costume, something awesome actually happened. The companies that make the game, they are called Digital Extremes, and they are Canadian. They asked me to come as a guest to their event, and it was cancelled, of course. but I almost went to Canada.
That would have been so cool as well, because
Yeah.
as soon as you go to like the US, Canada, that sort of side of things, you're just gonna shoot up. Like, it just gets really, really busy. Like, I do want to go to Canada or maybe even America in my Iron Warrior at some point in my life, but I have no idea when. I have no idea when. At some point in my life, I'd like to, but that would have been so cool to see you in Canada, just doing your thing. That would be so cool.
It was such a feeling to have the people who worked on the game recognize your work. It's, I don't know.
Let's hope that next year, when things cool down, if lockdown starts like cooling down a lot, where people can start traveling more, I hope they contact you again and be like, okay, lockdown's over, you can come over now.
They did the online version of the event, and they showed my stuff and said she was supposed to be there this year, but the physical event was cancelled. But and we want to invite her again.
Yes, that would be so cool.
Happens. And I was watching, and I was like, "Oh yes, thank you, you remembered me."
Yes, and honestly, I don't think there's anyone else that deserves it more. You've done a really, really good job on all your cosplays and all your commissions and stuff. You deserve to go to Canada and have an absolutely fantastic time, and I really hope it happens for you.
There aren't many Warframe costumes, and that's why I was noticed, because I made it in 2015. It was one of my first cosplays, and it was the first character in a different skin. And no one at the convention knew who I was supposed to be, because the game wasn't really popular at the time. It's a bit more popular now. Now people have heard about it, but at the time, people didn't know. And I met a guy who knew who I was supposed to be. And he was living in the same town as I did, because it was a local convention. And now we talk every day.
See, I love that. For example, I've been to, believe it or not, I went to an anime convention. And I was at an anime, like quite a heavily based anime convention, just stood there as a space marine. It's just like... guys, like, but it is still really cool. The occasional like nerd or the occasional like, you know, like big fan of Warhammer would come up, but they'll be dressed as an anime character and they'll be like, oh, that's such a cool cosplay. I love Warhammer. And I'm like, that's really cool coming from, you know, blue-haired schoolboy from this anime that I don't know, because I have no idea. Honestly, it would be insane. People are saying Iron Warrior road trip 2022. I would love to go on a big road trip with my suit, and that'd be absolutely awesome. We have a question. The Born Bandit, who's Arborealkey? This is the legend that is Arborealkey. She is absolutely awesome, and she is a brilliant cosplayer that I'm currently interviewing for my cosplay channel, which is here, Iron Warrior Cosplay. And we're currently going through a bunch of questions right now, and a question I have for you is, obviously, I've asked you what's your favorite part of cosplay, but it's sort of a two-sided thing where I also ask,
the worst part.
What's your least favorite part of cosplaying?
I hate what's at the end of a project, especially on commissions. A costume you do for yourself and a commission you do don't stop at the same step. When you do a commission, you have to make sure that the attachments are solid, that the person knows how to put it on. You have to think things differently. When I do a costume for myself, I don't care how obscure the attachment system is, because I know how it works. But when you do something for other people, you have to make sure they don't hurt themselves. You know, this kind of thing. And it's an extra step that's really boring, because you don't have to do it for yourself, and you just do it for commissions.
You can take that out.
It looks like it's done, but you have all these steps after the costume seems like it's finished. And then you have to pack it, and you have to do the invoices, and you have... It's not even a real part of costume making. It's all that stuff when you think you are done, but you aren't done.
I understand what you mean, because I thought I was finished with a cosplay that I was working on, which was obviously the Iron Warrior. But when I put it on, it was like, oh no, I've got all of this to do now. So it's like, gotta go out and do it. But obviously, with in terms of comfort, I have got a question here. What is your most uncomfortable cosplay? Or you could say you don't have one. I mean, if you don't have an incredibly uncomfortable cosplay, if all your cosplays are really comfy, you're welcome to say so. Like,
I don't have a really uncomfortable one actually.
Which is good. I mean, it shows that you make them to you.
But I have learned a lot thanks to the Vizark because I made a lot of mistakes on the build, and I would never have finished it if I didn't have many people asking about it. Oh, are you still working on it? And I wanted to stop because it just wasn't working. I love the character, I love the franchise, but I was afraid of the result. So it took me 2 years to finish it because people pushed me to finish it, and I'm glad I did because it's probably my favorite costume I've done, and I just love the character, and I love going around dressed as the Vizark.
I'm glad because that's something you need is people in the cosplay community being no, do it, finish it, it's amazing, you're doing a great job.
It's great.
You need those people to sort of push you, and I've had people do that for me, and it's great. It really is awesome. It really is cool because you have such an incredible following on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that. How do you keep a balance of all that? How do you do commissions, reply to people? How do you keep a balance of all that?
I try to. Well, obviously, commissions are always my priority, and you have several types of Instagram accounts, and there is one type when you have two inboxes. There is one general and one primary. So in primary, I put all the people who want commissions or who are asking about technical questions.
Yeah.
Or people who are asking about streams. So you are in the primary inbox.
Way! Look at that. Arborealkey Cosplay is in
because
the primary.
I have to keep your messages accessible. And in the general ones, I put people who just want to say, oh, I love what you do, and I just answer thank you. But sometimes I miss the messages because I receive a lot and they get buried quickly in the Instagram inbox. So I cannot answer everyone. That's why I ask, if you want a commission, just send me an email and not a private message, because I can read all my emails.
Where can we find your email? Is your email on your website?
It's on my Instagram profile. It's just written on the profile.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. So if you guys want her email just to ask for commission work and stuff, email Arborealkey. That'd be awesome. Obviously, I've asked you your favorite and your least favorite part of cosplay, but I'd like to ask you, as this is sort of a one where you can be big yourself up if you like, but how do you view yourself as a cosplayer?
I'm not even sure I view myself as a cosplayer anymore because I'm more of a costume maker.
So you'd see yourself more as a prop maker rather than a cosplayer?
Yeah, because I make a lot of costumes, mostly for other people, but I don't do much cosplay, as portraying a character for myself.
Yeah.
I have one personal project every 2 years, so it's not the bulk of my activity. It's my hobby. Making costume for myself and making costumes, and only costume, I don't wear them for others, is my job. So
that is awesome.
But I hope I will be able to do more trophies actually, because it was a completely new experience, and it's completely different from everything else. It's a different process, a different design process, a different construction process. And I have noticed that you might have seen what Vulcan props are doing in America. For a lot of companies, they do a lot of trophies.
Yes.
And in France, I think we do not really have that. Custom-made trophies. It's not something you see often. And the company I work with, after I had delivered the photos and videos, and they were really happy with the work. and it was their first time asking for this kind of thing. So they wanted to know if I would be able to make other types of trophies, and I think I might be able to get more contracts in the future with them for this kind of thing, because they have realized how much it can represent in a competition. You know, it's custom made for the competition instead of having a generic award you can buy online.
I have a fantastic friend, Woodwoes. He's on Etsy and Instagram and Facebook. He made it's a big zombie hand coming out of the base holding a bowling pin, and it's a bowling trophy, and it looks really, really cool, and it's just the coolest thing ever. And he has started making loads of trophies now, so it's really cool to see you getting into the whole trophy side of things. I mean, if I ever do a competition on Iron Warrior Cosplay, ages ago I thought about running a cosplay competition on Iron Warrior Cosplay, but if I ever do, at least I know who I can come to if I want to get a trophy made now. It's a really big Chaos Star with the Iron Warrior logo in it. That'd be really cool. Covered in the blood of my enemies. That'd be really awesome.
And obviously I would like to work with companies a bit more. It's not about the money, it's about copyright issues. I'm always afraid when somebody asks me, for example, with Game Workshop, when they ask me to do a Warhammer commission, I'm always afraid that, someone from Games Workshop will see it and just tell me that, of course, it is illegal to use their designs to make money. And it's the same with DC Comics. When I did the Wonder Woman commissions, I was a bit afraid of it, and I had a copyright issue with Warner Bros, but not for Wonder Woman. It was I make laser bookmarks. I don't know if you have seen some of them.
I really love the one you made recently, the TARDIS one. Oh, that looks so cool. Because I used to have the TARDIS diary, the book of the Doctor, and I had the really nice.
It was my inspiration. That it represents the journal in season 4, I think.
Yeah, I think
it was the double episode with the library.
But I really wanted to take each page and stain them and make it look like the one from the TV show. Instead of having it perfect, I wanted it to be all like the one in the actual show. But
you
really
see it
cool.
Evolve backwards in the show, since the Doctor and River Song are meeting in the wrong order. And you see the evolution of the journal. The first time you see it in season 4, it's really damaged.
Yeah.
But you see it again later, and it's almost brand new, because time has gone forward for the Doctor and backwards for River Song. So I just love the development of this character. I just love the character of River Song, and the fact that you see her with several Doctors.
I
love this series.
We have a comment from Khan saying spoilers book. Spoilers? I'm not gonna lie, don't get me wrong, I love Doctor Who. Ages ago, before I got into cosplay heavily, I really wanted a Dalek. I wanted a Dalek so bad.
I started making one, and I never finished it. But I started in 2015, and it was my first year of cosplay. And do you imagine making a Dalek for the first year?
Dalek? I mean, that's madness. I mean, don't get me wrong. My first ever foam build cosplay prop, cosplay costume, was the Iron Warrior. So that was kind of mad. Everything else was bought or made, that kind of stuff.
Sorry, there is someone at the door.
That's okay.
Non, il a pas sonné. C'est sûr. Oui, donc on appelle. Attends, je regarde. Sorry.
That's okay. Someone in chat said, a foam Dalek? That would be kind of interesting. That would be really weird. I don't know if that would work. I mean, it would be kind of strong, I guess. But I don't think it would be... I don't think it would be crazy strong, I don't think.
Non, il n'y a pas de SMS. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. I was just chatting to Khan there. He was just saying a foam Dalek, and I'm like, it would be interesting, but I would make it out of wood and metal and actually.
It was made out of foam boards and a giant plastic flower pot. A Dalek-sized flower pot. You can buy one.
What? That's insane.
It could fit inside.
Madness. No, I know you wouldn't actually be taking it into battle. I know that. But you're still going to make sure it's strong. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Doctor Who is such a cool series. I have David Tennant's and Matt Smith, I think. I have both of their screwdrivers. I love their screwdrivers. They're really cool. And I used to have the diary, but I gave it away as a gift because someone really wanted it, so I gave it away as a gift. I'm gutted now because I went to re-buy it at some point, and they're now super expensive. And it's like, damn it! But oh well, it happens. So, what would you give in terms of advice to somebody who's just starting off into cosplay? Someone who's just, like, right now picked up their first blade and a piece of foam and it's like, right, let's go.
Maybe don't hesitate to pick a project. It needs to be taken with a grain of salt, but I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't there at some point doing something that was out of my reach. My first armor was from Monster Hunter, and you have a lot of people in cosplay groups who tell you, do not do this, it's too difficult for you. Yeah. So it's good to don't throw yourself into a project if you know you will never finish it, but it's good to have, sometimes a really high objective because it pushes you forward.
Yeah,
but it works in my case.
The deep end, sort of.
Yeah, it works in my case, so it's a personal experience. So that's how I work. When I pick a commission, I try to pick something if I know I will learn something new, I will pick this commission to learn something new. And I know a lot of people just want to work on things they have already mastered.
I understand what you mean.
It's a more stable situation, of course.
Because I work well with foam, but if I was to jump into something completely out of my sort of reach, it would just be better to just go for it and just have a go at it. I'm trying to think what I could do. I mean, obviously, casting is something new to me. Like, I wouldn't cast something. I would love to be able to cast an Iron Warrior helmet. That would be really cool. But I wouldn't know where to start. I would have no idea. The tools and the equipment you would need, like a big tank that takes the air in out, with the pump that you take the air out of it. I wouldn't know where to start. Because you'd have to make the buck itself. You'd have to actually make the helmet. Would you have to get clay or something? Again, it's completely out of my field. I have no idea.
Not necessarily clay, because I have done foam masters before. I have molded foam.
No way! I didn't know you could do it from foam.
I actually didn't know you could do it from foam. You can mold anything.
That's crazy.
It doesn't matter.
Does the foam texture come out of that as well?
Yes. Silicone takes every detail. So, I do a bit of casting, but it's mostly gem casting or stone. So if your master is glossy, the mold will be glossy. If there is a fingerprint on it, it will be on the mold.
Ah, that's so crazy. Oh, that's crazy. That's mad. I can't imagine being casting it, taking it out, and then you seeing a fingerprint. No. Exeter Cosplay just said, "Why don't you start sewing a ball gown for your Iron Warrior?" Because I don't know how to sew. I mean, I have a sewing machine. I have a Singer sewing machine with a crank handle. It's an old sewing machine. But I mean, I can sew a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but I can't sew a ball gown. Although for your wedding, David, I'm getting a suit made. So I'm getting my Iron Warrior is getting a tuxedo made, a suit made for the Iron Warrior. I'm not kidding. It's gonna be so cool. My friend Holly's helping me make it, and I'm not gonna. I say Holly's helping me make it. She's gonna be doing most of the sewing, but I'm gonna be there, being let's do this, because it's gonna be super cool. I'm gonna be giving her loads of biscuits and cake and tea and awesomeness and cheering her on, you can do this, and she's like. But we'll see. That's obviously when all of this blows over, COVID stops, and we can actually go out and do stuff again. What is the what's the funniest cosplay story you have? Something really funny that's happened to you?
I think it won't come to my mind now.
As soon as I ask somebody that, it's either there's too many stories and I can't remember.
No, I don't have anything funny. I have a story, but it's not exactly funny, but it's the only one coming to my mind right
now. Go ahead, please do. I'd love to know.
I went to a convention, so I was the one driving. And I was with two friends, and one on the front seat and the other on the back seat. And I had my Night Lord ball pistol with me. And
oh God,
the two guys were big Warhammer fans, obviously. And I was wearing war paint. It was my post-apocalyptic character. So I had the face makeup with all the stains and the blood. I was wearing. So we stopped on the highway at the toll. It's called a toll, I think.
Yeah, toll. Yeah, where you pay to go in.
Yeah, you pay. So we stop, and you have other drivers on both sides. And the guy sitting on the front seat, he just lowers the window, and he gets out with the ball pistol, and he starts just threatening the other drivers on the side.
Oh my God! Why?
And I said, please stop, because let's say my hometown is known for having very hot-blooded people.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And especially on the road, I have seen things on the road. You only see this in in video games like GTA or in action movies. I have seen
French
someone
people
actually cross a roundabout. He went through the roundabout.
Okay, I guess. I mean, my God. And he's leaning out the car window with your gun, just be like, ah.
So we start again, and then we arrive in the convention, in the town where the event was. And there was a huge gridlock because there was a rugby match. So my town is known for football, and this town is known for rugby. And there was a match, and we were stuck because the convention center is just next to the stadium. So the streets were full of supporters with, paint on their faces. And we get stopped at some point by the police because they were telling people which road to take because most roads were closed because of the match. And I have a conversation with this guy, but I had completely forgotten about the war paint on my face.
Oh my God. Was he just looking at you like, okay, move along? Oh, that's insane. See, not gonna lie, those are some pretty funny stories. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think it's not the worst thing. Oh, yes, I forgot my trousers once.
You forgot your trousers once? How do you forget your trousers?
My trousers. And the event was 200 kilometers away, and I realized this when I arrived at the town.
No.
And it's now the area I moved to, so now I live here.
Oh,
but
brilliant.
at the time I didn't. And I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot my trousers. So it was my post-apocalyptic costume. And what I did, I destroyed the jeans I was wearing so they would fit the costume. I had paint, so I put paint on it, and I just made holes in it.
I will say this though, that the toll booth one is like probably my favorite one out of those stories. The one where you're just like waving the gun out of the car. I can't imagine doing that in the UK because, I mean, the gun, my Warhammer bolt pistol doesn't look real at all, but Ranger of Krieg cosplay has a las gun, which, I mean, from a distance would look like a gun. So I don't know how that would work, but I would love to go up, like me and Harry have been saying for ages, that the next convention we go to, we want to go in, because I'll be doing a Krieg cosplay soon. I've got a load of stuff on the way, but I'm going to be dressed up as a Krieg. He'll be dressed up as a Krieg. Obviously without our guns, but like with our shovels and gas masks and stuff, to go to like a McDonald's or a KFC and just walk in like it's perfectly normal. Like, yeah, what would you like for food? Oh, I'll have this. And we're just kitted up in full Krieg. That'll be really cool. We're going to do that at some point. We need to do that at some point. Just for the hell of it. And get somebody to film it. I have to have somebody behind me filming it. That'd be really cool.
The largest convention in my town is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And every Sunday, there is a football match. in the town. And once again, the stadium is right next to the convention center. They are part of the same, group of buildings. And it's hard to explain what Marseille is to someone who isn't from France, but it's well known for its football supporters.
Red-blooded,
well,
like
very drunk. And there is a sort of cliche saying that Marseille and Paris hate each other because of football, because the two clubs are rivals. And it's a bit true. And that day, the match was Paris versus Marseille. And it was absolute chaos in the streets. And there was a Polish cosplayer who was invited, and so her hotel was just next to the stadium. And she posted on the evening on Instagram, "There are things burning under my windows. I don't know what's happening." Because no matter if we win or lose, it will always be chaos.
Oh yeah, as soon as the match finishes, like as soon as the match finishes, everyone goes out, and that's when the fighting starts, the beer, the music, the shout. That's when it just gets in. It's the same in Cardiff and places like that. Like it just gets crazy, and you can't drive through Cardiff when there's a match on because it's just packed full of people. We have a funny one. Bloodraven just said in Germany, cities with anime conventions, the people are used to seeing that. In my city, people are used to seeing people walk around in medieval armor with weapons, which is interesting. Because I think in the UK, if you were walking around with medieval armor and weapons, you'd get arrested. And I have a friend of mine who actually did get arrested for walking around in full armor with a sword, which was kind of like, yeah, you would get arrested for that because it's a sword. But I don't know about armor. I know a sword or a weapon of sorts. Big medieval festivals in Germany, awesome. So there's a question here which I'm going to completely skip because I've seen your work. You commission stuff, you make stuff yourself. Everything is the question. Don't answer it because I know the answer. But the question I have is: do you prefer buying or making your own cosplays? There's just no point asking because you make it all. You just make it all, which is awesome.
It's what I am interested in. I'm more into building something than wearing it. So I don't have any reason to buy a costume.
No, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. My Ghostbuster is mostly bought and modified, but the Proton Pack was bought. Other bits were bought, and a lot of it was bought as an actual thing and then modified. But I don't class it as like I made this. It's more I bought all of this stuff and then I made it my own. Like I made it by customizing it myself. So there's a thin line between like you made it and then you customized it, but then also you bought it. So.
I mean, I work for people who buy costumes, so they create my job.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great to buy costume because I have work to do. Thank you.
I mean, I love that when I was planning on making my Krieg lasgun, which is there. When I was planning on making my Krieg lasgun, Frankie saw that I had plans on making one, and she commissioned one from me. And without her, I wouldn't have been able to sort out my like the payments and stuff that I had to do that month on my van, which was kind of like nail biting. But then she did that, and suddenly I was able to do it. So commissions are such a huge thing, especially to cosplayers. Especially at the time, I didn't have a job, but I do now. But that's a different story. But I've asked you what's your most like sort of expensive like cosplay costume and stuff that you've made. But what's your most expensive prop? Like the singular prop item, whether it's a hammer, a sword, one item or one weapon that you've built, like a prop.
It might be my Warframe hammer.
Because, is it the big hammer with the LEDs?
Yeah. Because of the smoke machine, it was my first time doing it, and I had to buy a battery pack.
Yeah.
So I will use this battery on all my costume. It's a one-time purchase. But I still had to buy it for this.
Yeah, of course.
I had to get electronic cigarettes. I had to get aquarium pumps. I tried things. Sometimes they didn't work. So I think that's where I spent the most.
So with the vape pen and stuff like that, is there like a button that you just press on the hammer and it works?
Yes, there is a button on the handle. I have a making of video somewhere on my YouTube channel where I think you see me build the vape, the smoke machine.
Yeah. Well, it's a vape pen and an aquarium pump and a tube, isn't it? And then a little circuit board there. Thank you, Ranger Creed Cosplay. He's just posted all your links onto the onto the
Thank
channel
you.
there. Your YouTube is there as well, so if you guys want to go check that out, the YouTube link is right there. So would you say that's that? Because I mean, the LEDs in that were beautiful.
Thank you.
What LEDs did you use for that? Any particular LED or like?
It's just it's a 12 volt LED strip LED. So in
Oh, so you
French,
used a strip.
we don't say the letters, we say LED. We pronounce the word as a word. And
Yeah. I get you.
And we did the same. We do the same with EVA foam. It's Eva.
Eva foam, yeah.
We don't.
I'm not going. EVA foam does sound cuter when you say Eva foam because it's like the movie WALL-E. You know when WALL-E's like Eva. That's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. But no, LED, LED strips and stuff like that's really cool because they're so bright. They're so bright in the hammer.
They're really bright.
And when you did, I did miss when you made the smoke machine, so I didn't know you had a smoke machine until the video came up on my profile. It's you holding the hammer, and I'm like, oh, cool, another video of a hammer. And then suddenly smoke. I'm like, that's so cool. That is really, really cool. That is absolutely
the smoke machine is completely separate from the hammer, so I can just take it out and put it in another costume. So once again, it was a one-time purchase for the materials. I can just reuse it.
Okay, that's really cool.
So
you've given me an idea there, you see, because I've got a smoke machine ready to go for my Ghostbusters trap. I want my trap to smoke. Like, I want to be able to hold it and have it smoke for like pictures and stuff. But I think I'm going to do what you've done. Make it removable and have it so I can be in a bunch of costumes. I'd love to have it in my Iron Warrior helmet, just so my helmet just starts smoking. That'd be really, really cool. That'd be really cool. So, how important is accuracy to you? Like, how important? Like, obviously, I know you said you had that cosplay of yours that you're making your own, like you're adding your own stuff and doing your own thing, which is fine. But if you were making a cosplay prop for somebody or a costume for someone, they say, "I want it exactly like this." How important is accuracy to you?
For commission, it's important if the person who wants something accurate. I will always respect the client's decision. I have been asked to make my own stuff by clients too. I have designed props and costumes for commissions. I made a Harley Quinn for someone, and he just told me, I want it to be recognizable as a death jester, but you can do what you want with it, as long as it looks like what it's supposed to be. So I had a lot of fun with this.
That gives you a lot of flexibility then, doesn't it?
Yeah. I prefer to have flexibility.
Yeah.
For a simple reason too, is that sometimes it's hard to emulate exactly
a
video game armor, because sometimes they just don't work in real life. And in certain situations, it will be better. It will be more comfortable to actually modify the design to work in real life.
I mean, there are some things that I've seen in games and stuff which just wouldn't work in real life, like physically, like the floating gun parts that hover around the gun as you're holding it. It's like you can't do that. So some people, you could use clear acrylic to make it look like it's floating, that kind of thing. But some people do want stuff that can't really exist, and I've seen people try and fail, but. I mean, with technology getting better and better, I'm sure there's something out there that people can start doing, and they'll be able to push cosplay even further. I mean, 3D printing has already made cosplay 10 times more insane. The amount of 3D printed stuff that I've seen is beyond now. Do you have 3D printed? Do you enjoy 3D printing kind of stuff?
It's here.
Wait, is that a CR10S or a CR10?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Exeter Cosplay in the chat, he has one of those as well. And my friend Andrew has 2 CR10s because he's mad like that.
It's very popular among cosplayers. Because I think it's probably because it's affordable and easy to use. It's still large.
It has a good build volume, doesn't
printer.
it?
Yeah. For its price, it's a large printer. And I'm very happy with it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I had one and I wasn't very happy with it, so I sold it to my friend Andrew. That's why he has 2 now. But I bought a laser cutter instead. I love my laser face.
Yeah, I would love to get a laser cutter. It's
insane.
I was stuck on the trophy a couple of days ago because I wanted a plaque on the base with the name of the competition. So since I don't have a laser cutter to engrave this kind of thing, I cannot carve metal with my current tools. I ordered it from the internet. But the French post system being what it is, it got lost.
Oh no!
2.4 kilometers from my house.
Ah.
It came all the way from the north. So it came from the extreme north of the country, and I live on the bottom coast of the country, at the extreme south. So it crossed everything, and then it got lost in the next town. So they arrived yesterday.
Oh, brilliant!
They got lost for 4 days.
4 days.
And
I mean, don't get me wrong, the laser I have will do like foam, it'll do leather, it'll do that kind of stuff, but I don't think it can engrave metal. It's nowhere near powerful enough to engrave metal. But I know someone who has a CO2 laser. CO2 lasers, I think, would be able to etch into the metal.
Yeah.
But I also know there's a friend of mine who has a literal entire room full of one machine, and it's a water jet cutter, so he can cut out metal.
That's great.
Yeah. He's a metal fabricator. He repairs heavy machinery and stuff. So if he needs a part that's cut like specifically, he'll just cut it out on the water jet, and it's so loud. It's insane. So can I ask you? You said you've done Warhammer Cosplay stuff. I know the amount of nerd you were just now talking about the books and how awesome it was. It was wholesome as anything. It was really nice to see because I'm a huge Warhammer fan myself. Is Warhammer something that's had like a huge impact on your life, would you say?
No, because I didn't grow up with it.
You didn't grow up with it.
It had an impact on my life, but only recently.
Oh, okay. How long have you been into the books and everything then? Has it been in quite recently?
Not long, because I discovered it only in when I started doing Warhammer Cosplay when I discovered it.
So right, that's when you started.
I think 2016 or 17. So it was very recent. I didn't grow up with video game either. So I didn't grow up with video games or wargame or tabletop. So I only discovered it recently when I got old enough to have my own money and buy what I want.
I'm not gonna lie, I like that though. That you've just only now gotten into it. So hopefully you'll be able to really get into it at some point.
So yeah, but I didn't get into the tabletop itself.
That's fair. Not everyone does.
I cannot really afford an army.
Yeah.
You know, I spend my Warhammer money on books, on the lore, on this kind of thing, because I'm really interested in it. And it's a bit curious, but a lot of people expected me not to know anything about it. And when I get into conversation, really deep conversation about the lore and everything, I'm always surprised. Oh, you know more about it than I do.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You should jump on. I don't know if you're on my Discord, aren't you? Because I've got factions now. I put you in Eldar, I hope, or Dark Eldar.
I am in the Night Lord faction.
You're in the Night Lord section.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which one you would go for. Ranger of Cosplay and I and the Modern Scald and a bunch of us, we talk Warhammer a bunch, which is absolutely awesome because I know Ranger of Krieg is currently going nuts with his Krieg army and stuff, and he's building trenches and just all sorts of cool stuff. There you go. For you guys who want to join in, there's the link to the Discord if you guys want to join in. So here's an interesting question that I'd like to ask you. Where did you get your cosplay name from?
It's an incredibly obscure reference.
Okay. This is going to be awesome.
To a play. I don't know how I could describe the author of the play. What is the book every kid in the UK would know about?
A book that every kid in the UK would know about?
A book or a series of books or an author.
I'd say like the Hungry Caterpillar. Everyone knows that one. There's a Welsh version of it too. Let's see. A book that the Harry Potter series. There's a series of books and stuff that people would know.
Yeah, but it's known worldwide.
Yeah.
And no, this one is really specific to France or French speaking.
So it's a very niche book then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's many books actually, and they all take place in Paris. It's a very, very fantasy universe. Not exactly fantasy, but it's in our world, but you have fantasy elements. Or maybe the world is more fantastic elements and not fantasy. And at school, it's mostly plays. So at school, when you started doing plays with your class, there was always this offer in the list of plays you could do. And it's from a line in one of these plays. The scene itself, it's called La Télé Farceuse, and it's something you hear in the background. There is an announcement on TV, and they're talking nonsense, and they talk at some point about fishes that live in a tree.
Very Monty Python-esque.
Yeah, it could be compared to that kind of thing. It's a bit absurd. So I took this line. The word in French for something that lives in a tree is arborealkey, and I merged it with a keyboard. The word keyboard in French, which is clavier, and I became le clavier arborealkey. So it's extremely.
But the thing is, though, if anything, that is like the best. That's the best story I've ever had. Because that question, where did you get your cosplay name from? I only asked that to certain people, because obviously it depends on their cosplay name. But like, for example, if someone asked me where did you get your cosplay name from, I'm like, because I'm an Iron Warrior. So some people I wouldn't ask it to. But that was such a crazy story. I love it. That's such a really cool story.
And then it got translated into English.
Someone just said tree-dwelling keyboard.
Yes, it became the Arboreal keyboard. And I had to shorten it because in most online games, it's too long. So, for example, Minecraft refused my online name. So I removed the last part.
That's so cool. I love that. But I love that at the beginning when I was asking you, like, so how do you pronounce it? And you were like, hey, I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, because it has been translated in order to appeal to international audience.
But it's a cool name, and I'm glad that everything you have, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your website, everything is
it's the same name.
Arborealkey.
And it's also my company name.
It's such a cool name.
Legally, I am registered under this name. So.
That's so cool. So your business is also Arborealkey. Awesome. And you're Clementine.
Clementine.
Yeah. I'm trying.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. I don't have a French accent, and I'm not going to do a French accent because that would just be
really
insulting.
French.
That would just be insulting. I mean, it's funny. I've actually been to France twice. Once to Paris on a school trip, and then the other one when I was very young to Parc Asterix.
Oh. I've never been to the Parc Asterix.
It's really cool. I loved it. I bought a really big mug, and it's a giant handle, and it holds all the tea in the world, and I drink it like... It's so cool. But yeah, I enjoyed Parc Asterix. It was really, really fun.
No, I've only been to one attraction park, and it's called Hockey Choral, and it's a local thing. It's in the south, and I was so surprised. I've watched... there is a series... It's an adaptation of a book, and it's called Patrick Melrose. I don't know how to pronounce it. And it's a book, and they did an adaptation. And a part of it takes place in the south of France. So I didn't know where they were, and we were watching it with my brother. And I say, wait, it looks like home. And they were actually in our region. So they were just next to our town. And they go to this park at some point.
Just so you can be there and you can say you've been there.
Yeah, I had been there before watching the series, but I was very surprised to, where people go to France in British series, in British series, they go to Paris, they don't go in the south. And
that's so cool.
And it was extremely accurate. The sound of I don't know how to say it in English, of cicadas in the summer, and the pine trees and the sea, and it was so accurate.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was just spot on.
Oh, spot on. I love that. With your Warhammer cosplays and stuff, though, we are going to have to get you to the UK so you can come to
I
Warhammer
would
Fest,
love to
the
go to Warhammer
greatest
Fest.
Warhammer event in the world. It's Warhammer Fest.
Yeah, I know.
We'll have
We
to
don't
get you
have
there
that here.
and get you in, because obviously a bunch of us in chat, we have our own group chat on Facebook, and we get invited to go to Warhammer Fest in our costumes, and we go there and we entertain people, and we got to meet Duncan before he left Games Workshop. We walk the queue, the entire length of the queue, the huge queue to get into Warhammer Fest. We walk down the side of it and entertain people, and we get photos with people, and it's a lot of fun. And I think it'd be really cool if you were there at some point. So we'll have to see what happens next year if things don't just...
Yeah, and so many people have told me, but why don't you come? And I say I cannot afford the trip. And they imagine that I live in the north of France.
Yeah, I got
but
you.
But if I want to go to the frontier, I have to cross the whole country.
Yeah, and that's not an easy thing.
First, I have to cross it, and then...
I live in Wales, it's very small, but it still takes a long time to do the length of the country, don't get me wrong.
So I cross it like 900 kilometers. I have to entirely cross the country, go to the extreme north, take the Eurostar to cross the channel, and then go cross a part of England to go to.
It would have to be a thing where it would have to be a holiday for you. You'd have to cross France, get into the Eurostar, come over, be in like England for a few days, and then go to the event, and then go home the next, like that kind of thing.
I have done it once, but I was able to take the train because I didn't have a costume with me. There is a local. It's not local anymore, but the paint brands I use the most is called PBO, and the headquarters are actually in Provence, so in the south, but they have expanded to the whole country and to the UK. So they did an event. A French company did their event, but in the UK, in London. And I sent picture of my Skyrim shield, and I was able to exhibit my prop among paintings. So there were all these paintings, and there was a shield in the middle. So I went there, and I spent a few days in London.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It was really a really direct trip because I took the train in Marseille. There is a big train station, and we didn't stop. It was just a Marseille-London. We never stopped, except at the frontier because you have a frontier. There is even when it was still part of the European Union, you had to stop and show your passports and all.
Yeah, to actually get into the. Can I just say thank you so much to I think it's Stains by Kingsby. I think thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the subscription. That means a lot. Thank you so much. You are here obviously a little bit late. We are actually just about to finish, believe it or not. I do apologize, but we are all well, and I just want to say thank you so much for the subscription there. It really helps support me a lot, and I really appreciate it. So my last question to you is, where can we find you? I know your links have been in chat, but it's always nice to ask the person themselves, where can we find you?
I am everywhere.
I am everywhere. I love it. Obviously, your links will come up into chat as well.
The same name. I have a very consistent name, so you can find me easily. So I am on my website, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, on different video games forums, on Obscurus Crusade, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, on the Replica Prop forum. I cannot say this word. It's
the Replica Prop forum. It is.
Yeah, the RPF, and plenty of other places. On YouTube, I am on YouTube.
You're on YouTube. Your YouTube link is there as well, along with your Twitch, which you've just started.
Yeah. Many places.
But honestly, I want to say a huge thank you for coming on. I know how busy you are, and I know you've got a lot of commissions, and you've just moved, and it's just really nice to have someone as talented as you with such an immense following to just jump onto such a small-time cosplayers like stream just to chat about their life and work, and it genuinely means a lot, and I want to say a huge thank you. And I'm sure everyone in chat will think the same and give you a huge thanks. But absolutely, Kingsby, you can watch the VOD. Also, this will eventually be uploaded to YouTube, like all my other videos, which is amazing, which is exactly what Clementine does, is watch all my VODs on YouTube, which is really cool, because obviously when I stream, she can't exactly watch every time. But
No.
I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on and really entertain everyone with your amazing stories. We are going to be doing another raid. So for you guys who want to join in the raid, please hang around. I'll be doing a raid. The stream will end, and I'll do the raid as soon as it goes to the end screen. But just want to say a huge thanks again to the legendary Arborealkey for coming on. And if you guys want to follow her, all her links are there in the chat. But I want to say again, thank you so much. Really, really means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
We will chat to you all again soon. So thanks you, everyone, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.